everyone.
Hello, everyone. We're back, baby. We're back. Thanks to you all and all your viewing on all the platforms. Can't keep two retailers down, baby.
We got this.
We're back for episode 11. We're very excited. Checked out Retail Stories podcast. Ryan and Doug, the Sprankle brothers. Again, thanks for everybody that's watching. We're here, and, you know, we are in Western Pennsylvania like we've talked about many times, and we are struggling through the retail world, and we got competition coming in like always, but, you know, we've always managed through our great customers and fans to fight them off, and we'll continue to fight them off. But it's been a little more challenging this week, Doug, because we've had something from up above come down. We'll talk about that. But before we talk about that, we got to mention, Doug, and we're proud and happy to mention our great sponsor.
And retail guys, a great partner, a great supporter is vital to success. And we can't thank enough our sponsor, our headline sponsor, PASkillAlliance.org, for all the support and supporting small businesses for turn orders across this great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, guys. They help keep the lights on, they help keep them running, they help keep our firefighters safe. Great organization, guys. If you want to play genuine Pennsylvania skill games, I suggest you go to our friends at PASkillAlliance.org.
If you're playing, make sure you check the machine. Does it say powered by Pace-O-Matic? If it doesn't, move on to another place.
And remember, it's skill, not luck.
Baby.
Bow!
All right. So, as we mentioned from up above, what's happening this week? What's happening this week is blizzard. Blizzard is happening. Cold is happening. We don't normally get this kind of cold and this kind of snow in Western PA, but we're getting it this year. So I don't know about you, Doug, but on a personal level, two things that are happening right now that are weather-related maybe, not weather-related maybe, but, you know, doing the January, February cleanse, trying to get back on track, trying to live an extra 10 years. Brandon and I have signed up for the Faster Way, which, you know, is an online interactive gym situation. You get online every day. They have a new workout for you.
It sounds like the modern version of like the late night TVs in the 90s, where it's like 1-800 lose weight. Call us now at 5555.
It really is, though. It really is. I mean, I will say this is cool, and, you know, we're not sponsored by these guys, obviously, but the Fast Way is great because you get on every day, and it's not like the same workouts. It's a different workout every day, so you never know what you're doing. They trick you up. I like the fact that it's different every day. Brand's the one that founded, introduced me to it. We do it together. It's a nice bonding experience. We both do the same workouts, and, you know, hey, I lost my holiday weight.
That's amazing. You
I'm
do
down. My goal is 180. That's what the doctor said I need to be at as far as like healthy weight. If I want to live max time, 180 is where I need to be. I was at 222 last September.
Oh, wow.
And I'm currently at 195.
Yeah,
Getting there.
That's amazing. You say about weight. So when I get on the scale in the morning, it says error, not made for livestock. Or if it's feeling real frisky, you'll say one at a time, please.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the scale. It's funny you mentioned the scale because I went to get on the scale yesterday to get my weekly weigh-in. I only weigh in once a week.
Yeah.
They say you shouldn't weigh in, but you got to measure it, in my opinion. Got on the scale, and it did have an error. And I had come off a pretty strong weekend. So I'm like, I don't know about it. Maybe it was a stronger weekend than I thought. But no, it's my scale's so old that it has one of those weird shaped plugs. It's like one of those old, like, you know, like an old phone plug.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So none of my fit it. So now I got to go and grab a new charger because it's a perfectly fine scale.
I was gonna say I'll give you mine.
But my scale actually broke.
Mine's in the closet.
Yeah, my
where it can't be mean to me.
Yeah, my scale actually did break. And then another thing on a personal level that's happening with me this week. Well, more Bran. You know, she's the nighttime person for our daughter, 11 months old, and you know, kids, as we know, when you have a kid, they come out and it's like living in a hurricane area during hurricane season. When you have a little kid, a little baby, you know, as far as sleeping, you'll go 2 straight weeks. It's beautiful. Sun's out, beautiful beach, sky, everybody's great. Then all of a sudden, freaking hurricane comes. And you go through this hurricane of not sleeping. It's like nice, peaceful sleeps for a couple weeks, and then they teethe, or they have growing pains, or they have some kind of an illness or something. But it's like these. Well, right now we're in the middle of a freaking hurricane. I mean, she literally every like I'd say every 45 minutes, it's like an exorcist moment. She's like, ah! Ah! It's like, what? Then dogs start barking because they're worried about her. Everybody's stirred. Everybody's up. I've offered to get up. I've said, hey, let's take 2 hours on, 2 hours off. And Brand's like, I can't go to sleep. I can't stay asleep. I'm going to hear her. I said, well, wonder if I take her downstairs. She said, I'm going to be worried about when she's going to do it, and then I'm going to be up. So she's taking the brunt of it. But, even I wake up, and I'm a deep sleeper. So, I mean, we're struggling through that right now. But, I mean, everybody goes through that kind of stuff right now.
Oh, every parent does. Yeah, I remember when Duke was younger, I did the same thing. It's funny, like different phases of life. I feel like now I'm kind of like a midway parent, kind of like, I have my nephew, Colt. I love that little guy, but he's a little adult flying around. He's a car and everything else.
He's 18 years old. Oh. He has a beard.
He does have a beard. I still think he's like this big. I still think he's like a little guy. No, but like it's funny because he calls me up and he's like, Uncle Doug, I want to go sled ride. Can I borrow the side by side? And in the Sprinkle world, nothing ever just works out right? And nothing's ever easy. So he calls me up and says, Uncle Doug, I want to borrow the side by side. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, whatever. Just put some gas in it, whatever you need to do. There's gas in the garage. And so he goes over, calls me back. I'm like, what? He's like, man, there's no key in it. I'm like, check the key box. He's like, oh yeah. Here, Tom never does this. He took the key with him. So the side by side's out, which would have been safer than his car. So then he's a Sprinkle. So he's like, you know what? I think I can take this little low profile Subaru and jump that 3-foot snow mound. And so I get there. His buddy is across the street blocking traffic during a snowstorm, mind you. And like there's 4-ways on his big Armada thing. He's in the driveway blocking it. There's a pizza guy that stopped asking if he needs help. And I'm just trying to get there, right? So I jump the curb with Lindsay's car, run down, get the side by side. I pull him onto the street with this other guy. This other guy had a chain. He's like, oh, I pull people out all the time, but only people I know. I'm like, okay, well, are you give me your chain or what? He's like, oh yeah, I got your chain. So shout out to Vicelli guy, thank you. And so he gives me the chain, I pull him out. But then your driveway, because of the snowdrift, is like 3 feet of just snow death. I mean, there's just a Snowmageddon hit hard. So I get in the Bobcat, and there's one car in your driveway. I know it works. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but it was literally like, did you start digging out the silver car yet?
No, that's the rental car that Brand's company had her use until they got her car. But now the rental company, because of weather, because of whatever else, they haven't come to pick up the rental car. It's one of those, like, they'll drop it off and pick it up for you. So they just left it there. So it's just idle. Well,
that's good, because at this rate, they're going to pick it up probably next December.
Yeah.
There's 5 feet of snow around it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a nightmare. I mean, it's a nightmare. It is buried.
Oh yeah.
And that bank you talked about and that grade, like, I have a Silverado with year-old tires, and I was in 4 high, and it took every bit to get over that lip. So the fact that he thought he was going to be able to do that.
Well, it was funny. The pizza guy got out.
And he's responsible for his own maintenance and damage. So, I mean, he knew going into that. I mean, for a kid that age, you mess up a part of a car, the deductible is $1,000.
Oof.
It takes a lot of hours of work when you're 18 years old to get to $1,000.
It's a lot of cheesesteaks.
He was risking a lot of cheesesteaks.
Well, the best part about the guy got out, and like, he's a nice guy. He's like, hey, so what made you think you're gonna make that hill? He's like, I was just gonna gun it. He's like, well, how'd that go?
When you're young, man.
Oh no. So did that, plowed people out all week, worked on the snow, worked on the which guys later in the show can't wait, Ryan's new segment, which I think you enjoyed. Did you enjoy?
I enjoyed it. I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yep.
Remember the thrill of your first childhood game, maybe tic-tac-toe? Genuine Pennsylvania skill games recaptures that excitement, offering easy-to-play, win-every-time experiences at your favorite local spots. Imagine a game where a little skill consistently turns credits into cash prizes. a game you can enjoy with others and even help them win. No need to just imagine. Genuine Pennsylvania skill games, championed by the PA Skill Alliance, are real. Go to paskillalliance.org for more information.
Quick store update. So we're working on some concepts, and one of the things we like to do is, so if you take a 4-foot case, they call it 3-deck, which are 3 shelves above your base deck case. Working on a food idea of how can you use what you currently have, equipment-wise, people-wise, to create a little bit of experience in the store. And when this week, we're thinking about incorporating Alpine food. So when people think of Alpine, they think of, okay, what is that food entitled? But here's the cool thing. You can do Italian, you can do Austrian, you can do German, you can do French, you can do Swiss. There's a bunch of different food options. So we're looking through what could make it happen for the case. A lot of cheeses, a lot of potatoes, a lot of things we can do in the store. Plus, how cool is it you can get sprinkles and get a little bit more of experience that traditionally you're not used to in the Pittsburgh market?
I love this idea. I love any idea where, like you said, it's not something, you see too much. You go down a strip. There's, KFC. There's Joe's Chicken. There's Johnny's Chicken and More. There's whatever, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all national chains. It's all the same. So, if we have something that's unique, it could bring people in from not only our town, but people from, around the area, 20 miles away. People will drive for experiences like that. So I think it's a really cool idea. I like the idea of mixing that with Italian. Italian's more of something that, people are comfortable with. You get some repeat. You'll get all that kind of stuff, the consistency of that. Then you get the novelty of the Alpine mixed with, having a consistent display similar to like a Whole Foods or what's that other fancy Nancy place?
Well, Trader Joe's, they don't do Trader Joe's.
The meals
doesn't do the meals.
Yeah, like having a display like that where if you or I after work we can go in and we know there's going to be 7 or 8 different classic dishes that have been made homemade that day that are available for me to pick up, take home, and throw in the oven or microwave and eat. I mean, the whole thing is just beautiful, and I can't wait to see it at Leechburg store. It's going to be.
Call Donnie today.
It's going to be amazing.
He's going to call me back, he said.
It's going to be amazing. Got to stay on top of it, man. You got to grow or die. Randy Sprankle, one of his famous sayings, grow or die.
Here's a really good story. When Dad and we were all living in Huntington, Pennsylvania, circa 1993.
I know where you're going with this. March of 93. It was unexpected.
It was a catastrophe storm.
Crazy storm.
Literally, like when people say storm of the century, this was the storm of the century. The last time that something like that bad happened was 73.
Yeah, I mean,
or 5.
It was like
I wasn't born yet. Apologies.
It was 1993. It was March. I remember because it had been pretty mild the week or two before that. There was nothing on the ground, no snow on the ground. And in fact, I remember the day before the storm hit, it wasn't like today where, this current blast of weather, you receive 2-3 weeks in advance. Everybody's totally ready for it. Back then, you didn't get that kind of update. So you had like a day or 2 or 3 to prepare. And when they came out and said that we could get 18 plus inches, 18 to 36 inches of snow. I mean, that's crazy for Western Central PA. It was Central PA at the time. Huntington area is where we lived. And I remember the day before, it was really nice out. I want to say I was in like a sweatshirt and jeans. And Mom had me like go around the yard and make sure the trash cans were brought in, make sure everything was cleaned up. And I'll never forget our neighbor. She came to get her mail, and it's like Groundhog Day. I can see it over and over again. She's like, "You ready for the big storm?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I was thinking, there's like, I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. Is this really gonna happen? It happened. We got 2.5 feet of snow, if I remember correctly.
In a very short period of time.
A very short period of time. It was like whiteout conditions. And as you know, at the time I was 12 or 13, you were 7, 6. And so, we were bored. It wasn't like now we have all these things to do. So we made up our own fun.
Yeah, so there's 2 fun things we did. But first question, like normal, how much did you get paid to shovel out the driveway?
Oh, jeez. You know what? I don't remember how much I got paid to shovel out the driveway, but when I think about it, that same neighbor, she used to pay me to watch her dog when they went away, and it was $5 a day cash, which sounds like that's nothing. But at the time, I was 12 or 13. People were making like, $4.25 working, fast food joints. So $5 a day cash, that was a big deal. So if I think about it like that, I'd say $10 probably. I probably got $10.
That's nice that you did that. When I did stuff like that, I got, guess what? $0.
Yeah, but they made up for it with your art school.
Thanks,
They made up
Dad.
for it in spades.
That was a great time.
Art school was all of that plus interest.
Hey, a 3.5-year associate's degree is not easy.
But we wouldn't be able to do this podcast without your art school. So
That's true.
it's funny how things come full circle. Everything happens for a reason.
The only thing I remember from that Snowstorm, though, is I remember, like, back then, you were 6 years older, but we were similar in size because I was big for my age and you're just normal.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember in the, we went outside and you're like, hey, like, I think you must have just watched Rocky or something because you're really excited. You're like, hey, let's go boxing outside. I'll wear 2 pairs of gloves and I'll let you only have to wear 1, so it's fair.
I thought it was fair.
2 pairs of gloves on a 6-year older than me?
I still think it's fair. You know why? It sounds like, oh, yeah, he's beating up his little brother. But no.
No, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Here's the situation. Here's the situation. There was no hospital. You weren't hospitalized. There was no marks. Mom was very defensive of you. There was no marks that Mom even brought to attention. And she inspected you every day like you were a piece of porcelain in a French museum. So, I mean, like...
I was pretty.
Yeah, well, there was no marks that she saw. And, so no marks she saw. There was no... So I overcompensate. I probably, honestly, if I know myself, I mean, maybe I hit you hard a couple times. I'm not going to say it didn't. But knowing me, I'd probably let you hit me like 50 times for every 3 times I hit you. And you were swinging full blast, and you were a strong 7-year-old. So...
Strong 7-year-old.
And you know what? Like all the big brothers revert to, it made you who you are today.
Thanks, Dad.
Toughened you up. I love that. Oh, yeah. I threw him down a hill. I used to kick that out of him every day.
I
but
hate
it made
that.
him tough.
I hate that. I hate that.
It's like basically they're like way out of all their,
Oh, no. See, you weren't like that, though.
It's
Later
like the German officers in World War II. I did it, but it was only because my commander told me to.
Oh, my God.
What?
Idiots.
What?
No.
What?
It was funny, though. You paid it back in spades about 4 years later. 3 years later, maybe. 3 years later. When I started wrestling, I was in middle school, and I was so big, they put me as a heavyweight freshman wrestler when I was in like 8th grade. I was wrestling up.
Yeah, you were big.
Yeah.
I played against you, I feel like.
Well, it did.
But anyways, yeah.
But anyway, and just like anything, a big kid, little kids like to pick on you to prove their worth, which is hilarious. So the 3 little kids picked on me. I chased them down. And then one of the seniors, who was a senior stud wrestler, punched me in the face so hard it indented my cheekbone. Like it literally, the cartilage around my one cheekbone.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Indented
I
it.
wasn't happy about that.
No. But it was funny though because something must have happened a week later because he apologized to me in front of everybody on the bus. It was weird.
Well, at the time, I wasn't.
You were in college.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college. But here's the thing, or junior. No, I was a sophomore in college. But here's the thing, and this goes for everybody. If somebody messes with any of your own, man, you gotta stand up. You gotta stand up there. So like, I'm the same way now. I mean, if somebody messes with you now, I stand up. If somebody messes with any of our crew, I stand up. If somebody messes with my family, look out, baby, look out. And I mean that's how I roll. And to be honest with you, that's how you should be. Everybody should look out for their own. So yeah, I mean I remember, obviously I couldn't do anything with this guy because he was 17 or 18 and I was like 20. So I wasn't going to do anything. But I still had a lot of friends and a lot of connections in that school. And, I had built up a good reputation. And so, I had some people remind him that life is precious and you got to take every day and make sure you treat everybody well because every day is a gift. And he obviously understood that every day is a gift.
Oh,
and
He was extremely apologetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Every day is a gift.
Yeah.
So hopefully we inspired him to live a better life.
I like how you said we. We inspired him.
He wasn't hurt. He wasn't touched. He wasn't touched.
He wasn't touched, but he was very, very apologetic.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't touched. He just needed to understand the value of life.
100%.
How nice it is to be alive.
Well, you know one thing I can't apologize for? I can't apologize for how amazing our sublease is in Saxonburg.
Yeah.
Our great restaurant is a combination of our friend Kye-won and Grist House Beer, so Pocha, which is Korean for street food, and our friends at Grist House Beer joined forces in Saxonburg to offer a complete experience with craft beer, one of the best in Pittsburgh, if not the best. I'm a little obviously biased.
Well, you're not biased. They just were nominated for multiple regional awards.
State, yeah,
and state awards.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's not being biased. That's a fact.
right, but they're definitely number one. Anyway, so.
And it's inside the store.
It's inside the store.
Sublease, for those of you out there that don't know, sublease, we have the store, and most of the time you have leases. You might have a building that you have leases where you lease it out to tenants. If it's inside the store, it's a sublease. It's inside the store. So Saxonburg, one of the things Doug did to make use of the space was develop different subleases to help offset some of the overhead and to help bring unique experiences to the store that, let's face it, if somebody's running their own business inside your business, they're going to be fully motivated.
Oh, 100%. Plus, you get
worked out really nice.
and you share in the traffic. You share in the traffic. You share in the customer base. But to hear more about, we're about to play. So, guys, before we had the Checked Out podcast, we had Sprankle Bros. It was a great interview with Kye-won. We're going to play that right now for you guys. Please enjoy. Kye-won, can you hear us?
I can.
Kye-won.
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome.
First question for Kye-won. This is an interesting question that your brother didn't even know the answer to. So it's got to be a
great.
good question. Kye-won, Korean. It's a Korean name, right? And the
Yes.
Kye-won, is that like, it's Kye-won Doyle. So Kye-won, is that like, Mary Lou Retton in the United States? Is that like it translate that way? Or is Kye-won one, like, is that your first name? Or is it hyphened with first and middle? Everybody's one.
Koreans have typically 2-syllable names. My brother Paul was born in the States, so he's just Paul. But he does have a Korean name, Songho, but most Koreans have a 2-syllable first name.
Oh, he's been
We
hiding
don't
that
have
Korean
middle
from us.
names. So I don't know if, I guess it's more like Mary Lou, because maybe Mary Lou has a middle name.
Yeah.
And when we say our names in Korean, we usually say our last name first. And my last name in Korean is Choi, pronounced Che. So when somebody who is Korean asks me my name, I say my name is Che Kye-won.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So last name first.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that answers the question.
So Kye-won, we're telling the group about how you got started. Walk us through the process. When you were there and thought
boy.
about having, you're literally there trying to sell, obviously, an awesome store tour on Google.
No, but I don't even know. It was so long ago, but I had met you guys doing some Google work for you, but then, months, a year later or so, I was renting an RV from somebody in Cabot, which is near the store. 'Cause I live 40 minutes away. I was going to a Penn State whiteout game because our son is in the Penn State Blue Band, and we were going to the game. And we were picking up this RV, and I said to my husband, I think there's a locally, family-owned grocery store here. We should go there instead of somewhere else. So
Great
we
decision.
pull in, I
I'm
Google
a
it. I'm
fan.
like, oh yeah, there it is. It's just a few miles away. So we pull in, and that Friday, it was probably 11:30 or so. You had a big happening in the store, and I, you happened to be standing at the coffee shop when I walked in, getting a coffee. So it just, as I tell this, all the little moments lining up together is what makes this whole thing magical, I think. But you were standing right there in the front that day, and we recognized each other, and how's it going? And you said, it's been eventful. If you know anybody that would like to have a lunch counter, because we had some events this morning. So it was a Friday morning, and you said, let me know. And I walked over, and I was taking pictures of it. And you were just kind of giving me some details about it. And about like how much it would cost. And I was taking pictures for some of my friends who own really great food trucks in the area, thinking about them. And my husband said, "Oh, are you thinking about so and so?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." So we started shopping, and my husband said, "You should do Korean out there." And I said, "Are you crazy? Do you remember that awesome job that I had, that I love, that I'm so good at?" And he said, "I know, but this is amazing. Like it's like falling in your lap, basically." And I have never thought and considered ever about opening a restaurant. So when he just pulled this out of the sky, I mean, it was just a moment that he had this like thought. And I just kind of poo-pooed him away. We kept shopping. And then, of course, somewhere along the middle of the grocery store, Doug sees us again and says what he says to every customer. He says, "Are you guys finding everything?" And my husband said, "Hey, don't you think Kye-won should do Korean out there?" And if anybody knows Doug, they will totally believe his next sentence. "If you're serious, I'll go get the contract right now."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's not serious. And Michael's like, "Yeah, we're serious." And you said, "That would be awesome. You know, I brought in sushi when nobody thought sushi would go in Saxonburg, and this would be so great. You let me know." And I said, "No, I have a basket full of groceries getting ready to go tailgating. This is not what I was thinking about." And you said, "Think about it over the weekend. You have this weekend before I have to fill that spot." But I get to the game and I could not stop thinking about it. In the middle of 100,000 screaming people, I could only think about the restaurant. And I had 3 lists on my phone. And one was, "Is this a financially good idea?" And it was a screaming no.
Oh yeah, no, it's always a bad idea for a restaurant.
Yeah.
to quit
And grocery
quit
store.
my
Yeah.
job that I was doing so well in and open a restaurant, which everybody knows isn't profitable for a couple years in a time where we had all-time high food costs. Terrible idea. And then just physically on my body, and do I want to be instead of just being remote and being my own boss, like, do I really want to be on my feet 15, 16 hours a day, lifting 50 pounds, bags of everything? And the quality of my life, do I want to give up golf and every night and weekend be working? And everything was a no. And then my kids were like, "Oh my gosh, you have to do it." Doug Sprinkle called me at 6:30 Monday morning and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I said, "It's 6:30. And you're like, "Oh, really?" It's like lunchtime to me. I've been up since 4 because, he's here for the trucks. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, this guy." But it also told me that he was like serious. So I said, "Have you had Korean food?" He said, "No." And I said, "What if I'm really bad at it?" And he said, "Oh yeah, it's a good point." And I said, "Why don't I bring you some and let's talk about it then. Let's see if you think it's a good idea." So 2 days later, I rolled in with an entire car full of food, enough to feed his entire staff. He had made an announcement that if people, and told all of his department heads that they had free lunch waiting for him. And we asked everybody, and everybody thought it was really great. And because I did not want to waste time or money opening something in Saxonburg, because I'll put it politically correct, there isn't very much diversity here in Saxonburg. So I just didn't know how much people would embrace the food, the culture, and having that kind of a restaurant here. And so to have the staff who is, largely of this community be so excited, he turned to me, Doug turned to me and said, "I'll do whatever it takes to get you in here. What do you need from me?" And I'm like, I don't even know. And he said, "I will help you every step of the way." So I went home that night and quit my job. So 5 days after walking in here to buy groceries, I
crazier
made
than I
a
thought.
major life decision that I had never thought about doing before. I just went on, it was the right thing. I felt like it was the right thing. Like I said, all the things led up. That was just led up to me saying it was the right thing. My kids, my husband, and even my boss, when I called them, they were like, "We totally get it." And after I sent off my resignation letter that evening, I Googled how to open a restaurant, and including LLC and getting my serve safe and just everything. I had no idea what I was doing, but it's been the passion of my life now, and it's been such an amazing journey.
So, Kye-won,
amazing.
before we talk about your space here now, which is actually a full-blown restaurant with her partners at Grist House, what are some of the things you're thinking about, and what are some of the aha moments, shocking moments you had when you started to look through the actual mechanics of opening your business and, like purchasing equipment and all those things that started to come up, including inspections? I mean, there's just so much you have to take on when you open a business, especially in Pennsylvania. What are some of those things that you experienced?
I mean, there from very big things to very small things. When I say that, I mean, you really handheld me like a child. I walked in to just work on some space, like putting racks together one day, and you said, "You're not going to be able to wear those shoes anymore. You know that, right?" And I said, "What?"
And we're fashionista.
And you said, "You have to have your toes have to be covered. Like you're going to be in a restaurant and like that." I had a skirt on. You're like, "You really should wear long pants. Make sure you're covered, like safety wise." Uh, Another one was when he said, "Are you going to wear a hairnet?" And I'm like, "What?" Because I have this like Asian thick hair, and he's like, you're gonna have to wear a baseball cap or like a hairnet or something." And he had people in the deli with these hairnets who I love, and I was like, "I'm never wearing that." And he said, "You're gonna have to put it in a baseball cap." I've never worn a baseball cap before, and now I feel like my customers don't know what I look like without one because now I'm just always in a baseball cap. So just those things were simple things that I didn't know were going to be so different for me. I stopped, I always had my nails manicured, so they're not manicured anymore. They're short. I don't wear jewelry anymore. Like I was never caught without my wedding ring. So just like so many little changes that Doug was like, "Oh, you're not gonna be able to do that. Oh, you're not gonna be able to do that anymore." So I used to wear like cute dresses, like all that. No, where I'm wearing chef pants, chef shoes, just getting ready. And then when it came to like, "Oh, I want to make this and this," and he would say like, "Oh, you don't have a hood. So what can we do over here?" And trying to figure out how to make food. So at the time it was in that 15 by 15 kind of space in the middle of the grocery store. There's no hood. And just trying to get inventive about what I could make over in the deli and what time I could make it so I wasn't in their way, how we could transport it over to the serving space and have it kept warm. And Doug was like, "Okay, we need a steam table and all these things." And um, really being able to understand what equipment I needed for the space that I was in. And then, hey, we need to figure out the design and like having him put it on CAD and draw it for me and be able to see how much space I had. Because, what you think you have is different than what you actually have. And you're like, you need 4 feet clearance to be able to move this around. And I just had no idea. Like I would have not known and probably would have wasted a lot of money without that guidance. And those things, I just don't know how people open without a mentor in that way if they've never been in that industry, because I had no idea what I should be ordering. I knew what I needed in terms of tools, but not the layout of the space. And I think that was huge.
Well, most people that open a restaurant, to be fair, don't commercially cook for the first time, a month beforehand.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, I say that joking, but at the same time, like it makes it more impressive because I think, to your point, a lot of people have a lead up. I mean, you see these chefs that open restaurants. I mean, there's a series of events that happens to get them from the point that they're a sous chef to owning their own restaurant with their face on the door. I mean, there's a progression there, and even in the grocery world, there's usually a progression either. As far as independent grocers, usually it's your father did it or your mother did it or your grandfather did it and then your father did it or your grandmother did it, or you were a manager for somebody and then they sold you the business. There's a progression there that kind of like it's always like the first day that you're responsible for paying the bills on any business is like, wow. Like I had 22 years of training and still the first time that my butt was on the line for it, it was a whole different game than before. But like it gives me a lot of respect for what you did because you didn't have that lead up. It was like like you said, you're this professional woman, well dressed, well spoken, have your hair done, nails done. You have your nights, you're on beautiful golf courses, enjoying life, and then all of a sudden it's like most people actually when they're in the grind. Their goal was to get to that point, and then you were at that point, and you said, "No, you know what? That looks like fun. Like that's a special calling." I'll say,
Yeah, that came from looking. I knew at the end of my life, I would not regret. There's a saying that you never regret the things you do. You only regret the things you don't do. And I knew that at the end of my life, if I did not try this, I would regret it. I'd always wonder. I'm actually okay if I try it and I fail, but I would not be okay if I never tried. And Doug was like so willing to help so much. Not just like financially, I thought the deals were really fair, and the mentorship, it just made it seem like all I had to do was show up and cook, and he would help me with the rest, and we would figure it out. And there was so much. I mean, I. I said, I think one day he said to me, we'll laugh about this one day. And I was actually thinking about it recently, that my first month that I was here, I would get here, prep in that space, but I also don't have a pantry. So I had these carts that I would drag from the back, and I would prep in the open. People are like trying to talk to me while they're picking out their breads and stuff. And then I would take that back, and then I would cook it in the deli. I would bring it over to the steam table. I would serve people right in front of me. I would shut down at 2 o'clock. I would do I'd take all my dishes over to the deli, and because I didn't have a dishwasher, and I would do the dishes in the deli sinks, and I would do it again and open for dinner from 5 to 7:30, and then I would be here doing the dishes for the rest of the night. And it got to the point where Doug would say to me, you have to leave at night. My managers are clocking overtime because you are still here doing the dishes, because that's how hard it is. Like, you own your own business, and I was here by myself. I never thought at my age I would be doing the dishes at 10:30 at night. It was 10:30, and his managers were like, how much longer are you going to be? And there were nights where I had so many dishes because I had so many customers that I would take dirty dishes in bins home, fall out of my car, and my husband would do the dishes while I slept.
Well, that tells
And,
you how much you love it.
Oh,
because,
committed.
like, to the point.
I did
most
that, and
people-
I would
most
show up
people
the next
wash
morning.
dishes at
and,
10:30.
which
to
leads
get to your
me
point.
to my mom. Wait, were you saying something, Ryan?
No, I said most people wash dishes at 10:30 p.m. to work their way to getting to where you were. It's still
I
amazing
know.
the calling of
But I was
something
so
just-
happy. I
yeah.
was so happy. Building something
Labor
for
of
someone
love.
else is very different than building something for yourself. And I never knew that my entire life, because I've never been an entrepreneur until now. And it is so different, and it is so satisfying. And anybody that's out there thinking about it, it's hard. It's not a get rich quick. But it is so satisfying and so fulfilling.
You got to get used to this face if you want to start your own business.
Sorry. Wait, what did you say?
You have to get used to that face. Look at the face is just total shock and awe. You know what? Speaking of shock and awe,
You got to get used to having that face a lot.
Ryan, so the story, the story of just the
whatever
first
it takes to
the
get
first
through
commitment. So then we had
Okay, wait, yeah. So there was that.
So that was
here we are.
call it phase one,
Here
right?
we are.
Commitment.
We are so I'm getting ready for that space, and we have ordered everything, and I'm gonna open in about a week. And then Doug, over the loudspeaker in the grocery store, Kye-won to the principal's office. And so I go in there, and I'm like, what's up? And he said that the brewery that was in here previously in the tap room had given notice they weren't going to be renewing their lease. And he said, you should just move down there when they leave. And I said, oh my gosh, absolutely not. Like, I can't imagine going into another space 10 times as big. I don't even know if I have proof of concept. We don't know if people are going to even eat this food, because I had not even opened yet. And
Mike referred to Saxburg as white bread America.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I don't care how much white bread you've had in your life. The first time you have a burger with kimchi,
I know,
changed
I
your
know.
life.
So then,
it became my second
so
favorite burger.
he said no. He said no, and then he said, I can call out to a couple of the local breweries to see if anybody wants to extend to the tap room. And I said, I'm really, my guy is the owner. I'm one of the owners of Grist House, and he said, really, give him a call. And I did, and I told him that I was opening this lunch counter in a grocery store in Saxonburg, and he was like, he said that was so much in one sentence, like, Saxonburg, like, what in the world? And
Oh yeah, no, these guys are Pittsburgh guys, like big Pittsburgh guys.
yeah,
And,
downtown
wait,
Pittsburgh.
there's Brian, Crystal, and
very
Kyle.
successful downtown Pittsburgh. And he even said that, and he goes, I have 2 commercial kitchens. You can pick one. I'll build you a kitchen. I never knew you'd open a restaurant. And I said, I've already signed a lease. I'll talk to you about that next year. My question is, how do I buy your beer and sell it wholesale, because I love your beer the most? And they said, he said, well, the licensing is too expensive, distributor's license, and all those things. The best thing is for you to take one of ours. We have 3. I'm using one at Collier. You can have the other one. And I said, oh my gosh, no, I don't think I can. I can't do that. Like, it's the size of a postage stamp. I don't know that you guys want to commit one of your limited licenses to this space. And he said, no, listen, I'll talk to, I said, I would feel better if you saw it. They like showed up the next day and like they have nothing going on, Brian and Kyle. And they sat in here in this space and they said to, said to Doug, we just need to make it on brand. We're like, we see the vision. We're in. We want to open this restaurant with Kye-won. We just need to make it on brand with Grist House. So let's start by knocking out a wall, putting in a garage door. Let's put in some windows. Let's put in some bathrooms so our guests don't have to walk across the store. Let's expand the kitchen. And Doug, and I felt like I was sitting there watching like my parents talking. And I was just like, can't believe it. And then Doug said, okay, I'm in. And I was like, what just happened? So that's what happened. And so I was out there for 6 weeks out in the middle of the grocery store.
Yeah, it wasn't too long. People do miss the grab and go though.
While the brewery was finishing out their lease, and then they finished, and then we gave it a couple weeks to clean, and then we did pop-ups in here in this space with the original layout for a few months while we were getting all the permitting and the licensing and the architecture all figured out. And once we got the go, we shut down, and here we are. We've been open for 6 months.
Has it really been?
Isn't that crazy? 6 months.
It's crazy.
But
it is crazy.
It's crazy.
So, and I think one of the really cool things is, you have brought your entire family, including, we talked about earlier at the blue and white game, Aiden works there over the summer. The entire family's in the business.
Yeah. It's cool because I didn't know any Korean people.
When I was in that original space out in the store, I would call my mom in the morning and ask her questions, and she had all kinds of questions for me. And then I would say, can you find this ingredient? Because I don't have access to all the ingredients that I need here in Pittsburgh. And she lived in the Northern Virginia, right outside of DC area, which there is the third largest population of Koreans in the country behind LA and New York. So there's a lot of Korean representation, a lot of Korean grocery stores. So I said, can you find me this, this, and this? We would talk like every day. And then I would call her on my way home. And at one point she was like, are you working 15 hours a day by yourself? And I said, yes. And she said, I'm going to come help you. So she came to help. She was only going to be here for like a week, maybe 2. And she would wake up with me in the morning, and she's in her 70s. She would wake up and come in here and chop and cook and do all these things for me and help me serve, give me ideas, and then would leave with me at the end of the night and refuse to go home early. I would try to get her to go home early with my husband. She refused, would wake up in the morning, do it again with me. After a couple of weeks, I sent her home to see my dad. And then she wanted to come right back. And then after a couple months of that, my dad was like, what are we doing? What's happening? Are you coming back ever? And she said, I can't. I have to stay here with her. So she says she's going to move. So my husband and I found her a home, like a third of a mile away. Like you can walk.
She's a Saxonburger now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then my father has 5 sisters, and one of them in Virginia, he is like the favorite sibling. And so she said, well, if he moves, I'm moving. So we got her an apartment up on Main Street in Saxonburg. She's 90 and she lives in Saxonburg. So now we have 3 Korean residents in Saxonburg, and like the first time in history.
That's
and
funny.
Again, I also don't know how they're going to be perceived here in town, in this very, non-diverse town. But you know what? My mom walks here often, and people will like honk their horn and yell Mama Sue at her down the street.
Mama
It's very
Sue's
sweet.
a
Like
legend.
everybody in town knows Mama Sue. So like she goes to bingo here at the fire hall. They all know her. It's very sweet.
Oh, Mama Sue, man, she's got some character to her.
Oh, Mama Sue's great.
And you know what? When I'm that age, I just hope I'm that spry. And again, Mama Sue, I mean, she must obviously she loves you, and I'm sure she enjoys working with you, and the camaraderie of it. That I'm sure is a big part of it. But it's got to be, from her standpoint, for her to be that driven, she has to just be enjoying building it as well. It has to be something. I'm sure she looks at it like she's a part of the build, like she's driving towards something. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel it with my own children, though. I'm sure you do too, especially you, Ryan, because you have your kids at that age. That if they told me that they were going to start a business and it was something I knew anything about, I sure as heck, if I was retired, would be there trying to build.
Oh yeah, you get excited.
So I know. I mean, she works more hours than anybody including me. She's here early in the morning before I get here, making homemade dumplings every day. And she stays till the bitter end at night, even though I try to make her go home. She's here when I'm at home on my days off. She's still here making kimchi and stuff. Like she is always here.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing at her age. And I think that's a very cultural thing that we don't put our
What was she doing
our
before
parents
this?
in nursing homes if we
Yeah.
physically can take care of them, because it just gives them a better quality of life to get up and move and walk and have
Oh,
something
yeah.
to be responsible for and to look forward to. So it's been really great to see how healthy she is. I hear people say that to me all the time, that their parents are not as healthy as her at their age. And so I know that that is doing a lot for her, but she is the driving force behind everything in that kitchen.
And what was she doing before she decided to be a grinder? You know, what was she doing before she decided to work?
My
20
mother
hours
is
a day?
a licensed beautician. She's owned beauty shops and hair salons. And my mother is not a great cook. Like she doesn't like to, and it's not that she can't, she doesn't like to do it. It's not her favorite thing to do. To me, it's catharsis. Like I love to be in the kitchen and cooking. She does not. So a lot of this has just been me teaching her how to cook and
That is
teaching her the
hilarious.
recipes and working on things with her like that. But this is new for her too. This
Huh.
whole venture.
That
She
makes
does
it
not
even
have a history in
crazier.
this.
That does.
Maybe that's why she's so excited about it. I mean, after you do
Maybe.
something for a long time, I mean, you know, I've cut meat, you know, off and on for 25 years. And, you know, I still enjoy it from time to time. But to be honest with you, like, you know, that part has already been done. Like, I've already done that. Like, it's neat to go into another. That's one of the reasons we're doing this. I mean, this is fun. This is another adventure. This is another opportunity. It's another challenge. And that's probably why she's in such good shape, because she's not afraid to challenge herself, you know?
So Kye-won, as we wrap up, if there's one thing that you could tell somebody out there that wants to start a restaurant, that wants to get involved, you know, what would you give them as far as advice?
Oh my gosh. What?
I know.
There's so many
Compile the
things.
library.
What's step one?
Here's the biggest thing. You have to know why you want to start a restaurant. It cannot be for the money. It's kind of like going into teaching. It's not for the money. My passion is about feeding people. I love seeing somebody try really great food. I am passionate about the ingredients I'm using and the process and the food that I'm serving. Everything that we do, we cook fresh every day. There isn't, I'm not buying frozen things and defrosting them. And I don't have a microwave. Like I'm not deep frying pre-made dumplings like most Asian restaurants are doing around here. I'd rather not have them on my menu. I barely make any money on the dumplings if I were to factor in how much time my mother is spending making them, because it would be physically impossible for me to charge people what they're worth. But that's not what it's about. It's about them actually trying this cultural favorite of mine. It's called mandu, and so I have it on the menu right now. But like those chicken wings, we are prepping and breading and frying and double frying every day. My brother every single day, because we could buy frozen and it would be cheaper and we'd make more money. But that is not what makes me get out of bed. I get excited about people trying the food and saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." So if you're not passionate about that, then the restaurant world is not going to work for you. It's because people see through that quickly. And I think what has people come back is they can taste the passion and the tradition that's in the food. And if you don't have that point of view, I just wouldn't encourage somebody to do it, because it's really hard. There's much easier ways to make money than the grind. But if you are passionate about it, it's not the grind. Like I get excited every day to come into work.
And you're already getting accolades, including nominated for, I hear, the best restaurant in the city paper for new Korean restaurant.
Yeah. So, I mean, after a month of being open, we were nominated and then finalists. And then ultimately we came in second, but after only a month of being open, for best wings in Pittsburgh and best casual dining in Pittsburgh Magazine. And that was humongous. We lost wings to Bob's Big Shot, or Big Shot Bob's. And we lost best casual dining to Burgatory, which are huge chains.
Big
So I
companies.
feel I won in my own little world. And then most recently, we are in the running for Best Korean, Best Burger, Best Wings, and Best New Restaurant to Open in Pittsburgh in City Paper. So we should hear about that soon.
Make sure you got there and vote.
That
guys.
burger, if anybody out there has not had the burger at Pocha, it's unbelievable. You know, there's so many burgers that are great. I love burgers. Everybody loves burgers. There's so many really good burgers in this world. There are. But, like, it's a uniqueness, like, that separates it. And when I think about it, my number one burger of all time, and it's boring. It is. But the Big Mac. That's my number one burger.
It's a great burger.
It's a great burger. It's just the right amount of everything, and the sauce is amazing. But it's, like, different. That's what makes it so cool. You don't get it. Any other burger you have is great, but it's not like the Big Mac. It's very unique.
Right.
Same with the Korean burger. I mean, that taste, and I don't even like spicy, but I like a little extra kick on it. It's just so unique and so flavorful, and like you just are mad when it's over. Like, yeah, you're like, man, I wish I had room for 4 of these things. Like,
Right.
it's a magical experience.
I will tell you when we were trying to develop the menu, the guys from Grist, Brian and Kyle, said, "Listen, we love your food. That's why we're doing this with you. But how are you open? How do you feel about adding some things to the menu that are not Korean, or having options for people? Because if we're a neighborhood tap room and people are coming here multiple times a week to just have a beer and watch a game, and they're not in the mood for Korean, will we have something that they could enjoy as well?" And that is why I specifically decided to put a burger on the menu, so somebody could have a classic American lettuce, tomato, onion kind of burger, or a hot dog like that, or chicken wings like that, or nachos. So there are some things that are classic bar foods, and I call that in the menu like my childhood and my adulthood. There are foods that people that are native Koreans can come and eat that is not Americanified at all. It is true Korean, what my mom and I have been, making my whole life, and they will find those very familiar. And then there are some things that are really, really popular in Korea right now, which is why I call it my adulthood. A lot of things with cheese, burgers, wings, things that are being amalgamated because of the globalization of the internet and cultures that people are eating in Korea right now too, but I'm giving some access to here. So if people have not had Korean before, or if you have a family member that's like, I'm not sure about Korean, you can bring them and they can have a burger and fries, and it'll be a great burger and fries. And then when they smell and see the food that's on the table and see how accessible it is and how like it's not that scary once it's on the table, you'll have people eating Korean. I'm positive of it.
I mean, that's me.
Well, plus, you have the best beer in Pittsburgh to go with it.
It is good beer, man.
I can't even begin to tell you
Good
about
beer.
that. They have been in business for 11 years. They're about to open a 55,000 square foot facility in Collier. While other breweries in Pittsburgh are closing like every month, they are opening this massive facility because their beer is so good, and their business and the guys are such good, ethical, smart business people. But the beer is really, really the best
beer is
beer
really
in
good.
Pittsburgh. And the fact that I get to partner with them is a dream. I don't even know how that happened.
It's a great combination.
So it's amazing that we have Grist House right here in Saxonburg, and people can drink here. You can have a beer here. You can take 4-packs home, and they're right there over at Freedom Farms as well, just 12 minutes away. It's just, we're very, very fortunate for them to like come up to Butler County from Allegheny.
For sure.
Thank you, Chris.
I agree.
Well, guys, super excited. Thank you so much, Kye-won, for coming on the show.
Thanks, Kye-won.
PA Skill players seek genuine PA Skill games. How can you tell the real from the imitation? The PA Skill Alliance offers a 4-step identification process to help you find genuine PA Skill games. 1. Check for logos. Does the machine display official Pennsylvania Skill Game logos? 2. Look for Powered by Pace-O-Matic. Is it Powered by Pace-O-Matic visible on the game's case? 3. Assess business reputation. Is the game a reputable business? Genuine PA Skill games were not intended to be standalone businesses. 4. Examine game style. Is it a tic-tac-toe style game that offers the option to win every time? Help combat fraudulent skill games by exclusively playing genuine PA Skill Alliance supported games. Discover more at paskillalliance.org.
Guys, welcome back. We are here with Ryan, and we're super excited. This is the newest segment. It is Ryan's Blind Bites. I'm super excited about this. Every week, Ryan's going to try a brand new item, blindfolded, that we sell in the store that you might not have thought we sold, but we do sell, and we do it in a very creative and fun way. And this week is the first week. Ryan didn't want to do it, but you know what? He drew a short straw, and so we're doing it. All right, Ryan, go ahead and grab that plate for me. I feel like you're a small crab. But wait, don't knock it apart. Come on. I put a lot of work into this. Okay, it's a big burger. Grab the whole thing. Before you bite it, though, I need you to smell it. What do you think is in there? What do you think it is?
Smells like
What do you smell?
crab.
No crabs. Well, I might give you crabs. Just kidding. You ready?
What I
Two hands.
What I do for our fans.
2 hands, big bite. You ready? Big bite.
Yeah.
What are you tasting?
Honestly, it tastes like a real strong flavored, real full flavored burger, like a real full flavored burger.
What do you think's in there?
Oh my God. I know.
There's no way you know.
Yeah, I know. And you know why I know?
Why?
Oh, wow. I know. Because I've cut this millions of times. It's the most dreaded thing to cut. And it smells so bad cutting. And the aftertaste, now the aftertaste is kicking in. The initial taste was really good burger. It actually isn't bad. The aftertaste really isn't bad. And I know how good it is for you, so I'm just keep telling myself that.
Yeah.
It's liver.
Well, take her blindfold. It'll be a big reveal. We carry this at all 3 stores. Bam! Nailed it.
I nailed
I
it.
can't believe you got the first one.
I nailed
That's
it.
amazing.
The only reason I did it, the only reason I got it was because I've cut it a million times. I know that smell. It's a very distinct smell. I will say this, though. I've always dreaded it. I've never eaten it. And, I mean, it sells like crazy. A lot of people buy it for their animals. But a lot of people buy it for themselves. You know, liver and onions is a classic dish. I will say this. I would eat the rest of that.
Yeah, it's good, right?
I would. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, I wouldn't go out of my way, but I would recommend it as something to try because let's face it, liver is one of the best things you can eat. It's full of protein. It's low in fat. It's got all the macros and all that stuff. So
It's high in copper, which is kind of weird.
that is kind of weird.
It's high in copper, and then it also has. So it's a superfood, and it wasn't until about 1920 when it came hot again, where people talked about survival and using food that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it became a patriotic meat post-war staple during World War II because it's cheap and unrationed.
And it still is cheap.
It still is cheap.
I mean, I think what'd that label say? How much was it?
It's $2.99 a pound.
$2.99 a pound. I mean,
Super cheap.
You can't get ground beef for that right now.
Right. So that burger is interesting. So that burger takes your Duke's mayonnaise. It puts a little bit of lemon juice squirted into there, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and then the beef itself is a blend of 30% beef liver versus 80% chuck, with a very nice, and there's paprika. You probably taste a little bit of paprika in the meat, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of onion.
Especially at first.
And Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
And then we use sliders from our friend at King's Hawaiian. But the cheese is one of my favorites. It's a very sharp cheddar.
I mean, it was good. I was surprised. I was expecting something that didn't taste real good. I will say the smell at first came across as like crab cake. Maybe that was the paprika. Maybe that was the
smoked paprika. Yeah.
But the smell came across as like a crab cake smell. But yeah, I mean, hey, I survived the first episode.
That's awesome, guys.
I didn't throw up.
Nope.
Didn't pass out.
Nope.
Okay. The first episode of Ryan's
Blind bites.
in the books, baby. Woo. Liver. Woo! Genuine PA Skill Games, powered by Pacematic and supported by PA Skill Alliance, are dedicated to fostering growth throughout the Commonwealth. These games have been instrumental in supporting local fraternal orders, fire companies, bars, and retailers by keeping businesses operational, maintaining employment, and funding community projects. With over 5,000 communities across Pennsylvania, it's highly probable that genuine PA Skill Games are working hard behind the scenes in your area. They ensure the vitality of our main streets, restaurants, bars, and stores. By supporting PASkillalliance.org, you are investing time in your community, employing your neighbors, and contributing to local nonprofits. Together, we can help keep Main Street open for business. Boom! Retail stories from around the world. And this week, Doug, we don't have to go very far for the retail stories. The retail story from around the world is this weather, and not only Western Pennsylvania, but half of America is experiencing. First, it was the blizzard, the storm of the century, a couple weeks ago. Then it's been uncharacteristically crazy, insane. An Inuit would say, I'm going back to Alaska if they came here right now. It is cold.
Daily sub-zero temperatures.
It's unheard of from around here. And for this long of a stretch, sometimes you get like 1 or 2 day Arctic blasts, but like for this long of a stretch is unheard of. And, you know, the thing for us in retail, for anybody in retail, it just, you know, like for somebody that has, you know, I would say like a normal job, like a, you know, like teaching, something like that, very important jobs, but, you know, where weather can, you know, you get off, or holidays you get off. Like I call them lifestyle jobs. They're great lifestyle jobs. And for those people, it's like, oh, I got all my stuff, you know, power's on, not so far so good there. If it's not, I have a generator, or I have, you know, whatever. I can go to a friend's house, whatever. But I've all my food, family's here, everybody's off. We're gonna watch some movies, have some coffee, you know, just play some games. It's gonna be nice. But for people in retail, anybody in retail, you know, it's chaotic. It's people can't get to the work. People are afraid to drive to work, rightfully so. If they wreck their car, it's a big deal. So they're afraid to drive for their safety, for the safety of their vehicle. You know, so you know, you give people that can't come to work. Physically, when this weather and in the blizzard, they actually could not come to work even if they wanted to in some cases. So you have a lot of staffing issues that maneuver around. You have, you know, people lose hours, you know, because of it. Trucks are delayed. Trucks don't come, you know, so you have a lot of out of stocks, causes your service levels to customers to be off. You have, you know, constant upkeep of your parking lot, of the sidewalks, of the inside of the store because of bringing in with boots. All the moisture, all the wetness causes hazardous conditions for the customers. The carts are all icy and cold. I mean, you know, you have supply issues, you know, from the deliveries not being there. Sometimes you run short on supplies that you don't think about, register tape, stuff like that. I mean, there's all these logistical things that cause, you know, you can't just enjoy it. It's so pretty, but like, you're not thinking about how pretty it is as you're driving down an icy path on 4 low, sliding to pick up the only person that knows how to open the store at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Oh yeah, and like, I mean, you know, that's business problems, but like, you know, even for the customers and crew, like, you know, there's people out there that, you know, already been maxed out with their heating bill that has to pay for during this time. There's people that have their pipes frozen. There's people that don't have any power. There's people, I mean, it's just a really difficult time for the public out there. And I think that, like, you know, it's funny, like it's been this way for a while, but like every time I'm like on call, so we do weekend rotations. Ryan will handle all 3 stores one week and I'll handle the following weekend. And most of the time it's pretty fair as far as like just, you know, normal things happening. But for some reason this winter, every time it's like, death storm coming. Oh, who's working this weekend? Doug. And so like every time, like Ryan's over there with his little pajamas on, little fuzzy slippers. His daughter's crawling around, yelling, screaming.
It was nice.
And then Hey, Doug, how's it going out there? Well, Ryan, pick up the 15th customer and 15th crew member. Hoping the store stays on and the power in Leesburg doesn't get crushed by the Evergreen Road power outages that happen every single time. West Bend, do better. But yeah, so there's a lot going on, a lot of stress, a lot of high level thinking and having to deal with all those problems. And then you get the call offs.
Well, speaking of stress, this is the epitome of the stress. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this message. You probably won't be able to see this message. Well, you might be able to see it here.
Oh, I see a hand. We'll just read it for you guys.
Yeah.
You gotta read it.
Technology isn't my thing, as we've talked about before. But here we go. This message just came from Bela, our do-it-all. I don't know if he has an exact title yet.
He does.
Does he?
Yeah, so he's actually due for review, but it's really good. VP of Executive Projects.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, he does a lot of executive projects.
Does a lot of executive projects.
But real quick, before you talk about what it says,
yeah,
the backstory is what people don't realize. If you live in the city, and especially during a snowstorm, the plow truck comes down the street, and when it comes down the street, it throws the snow left and right. And what happens is if your car's on the street, which in Pittsburgh it's all street parking, is your car gets buried.
Yeah, buried.
6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
So,
takes people like 2 or 3 hours just to get their car shoveled out.
Right. So what happens is the people that tend to take advantage of the system, or the people that don't have to work because of snow, stay home.
Yeah.
So when they want to go out and get dinner or something, they go out and guess what they do? They don't park in the spot they just left because they hadn't spent time digging it out.
Oh, no.
They park in the spot that Billy just cleaned out for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Path of least resistance.
So this is the backstory. So this person obviously just cleaned out their spot. What does the sign say?
Well, this person obviously was one of those people who spent 3 hours cleaning out their spot. They live near Bela, and they literally looks like one of those gardening poles with a piece of paper taped to the gardening pole. Stuck it in the spot when they weren't there. They must have pulled out of the spot, stuck it in the spot so nobody would park in there. And it says, all in caps, I pop tires. Do not park here. Exclamation point with 3 underlines under the exclamation point. Single mom who shoveled every 3 hours. Every an hour's underlined 3 times. I am at work. Now, if that doesn't sum up the anger, and a single mom with 3 kids, here's to you. Here's to you.
God bless you.
I mean, I just complained. I just had a little harp session about 11-month-old. We got 2 adults plus an 18-year-old, all taking turns. So, hats off to all the single moms out there. But I could see, you're a single mom. You're already dealing with all that. You're working full time, and now you get some yinzer parking in your parking spot. I could see how the knife could come out, and hopefully just hit the tire. Hopefully just hit the tire.
Or even safer, just deflate the tire.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it's, and one thing though.
Weather hits differently.
One thing, 1993, we talked about that blizzard in 1993. I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you do. When our dad, he meant well and he tried. Like it's like that country song, Mama Tried. Like Daddy tried to get us to hunt. He really did. He tried to make it as nice as it could be. But we hated it. You and I both hated it. We hated being cold. We hated being bored. We didn't want to kill anything. Most of the time, remember the time that I shot something just so you and I we volunteered to dress it and get out and drag it. And we drug it out of the woods faster than any 2 men have ever drug anything out of the woods. We did it, gave it to the food bank. We didn't even want the meat. We gave it to the food bank. But remember, I shot it just so we could get out of the woods. Like, I didn't even want to shoot it. I didn't want to shoot the deer. But I said to myself, if I shoot this deer, it's going to help. I justified it. I'm like, it's going to help conservation. We're going to feed some people in the food bank. And more importantly, we're going to get them out of here. But what helped us to be able to hunt, if you remember, in 1994.
Little Debbie Swiss cakes?
No.
Oh.
Uncle Rick. I think Uncle Rick found these.
Mickey D's.
Mickey T's.
T's or D's?
T's. They're known as Mickey Mouse boots because of the fact that they look like something a cartoon character would wear. They were invented and introduced to the U.S. military in the 50s in the Korean conflict because in World War II, one of the biggest problems was frostbite. They didn't have a boot that could withstand the consistent cold. These babies, you can put air in these things, and they inflate, and they fill up in there. They have multiple layers of rubber and wool, and they are good for negative 40 degrees.
Are those yours?
These are. These
Look
actually.
how worn they are.
No. Here's the thing. These actually might be Dad's or mine. We both got a pair. We wore the same size, and they were a life change. They were a game changer for me because my feet always got cold, and I hated it. My feet never got cold again. I might have been bored out of my mind and wanted to get out of the woods, but at least I wasn't freezing. And these things saved everything, man. But here's the crazy the longevity of these things. I've been wearing these in all kinds of crazy situations since 1994.
Oh, that's a great value.
They are 32 years old. This is the 32-year-old boot savings. If you can find Mickey Mouse boots, baby. Mickey Mouse.
They need to bring back the, what was it, surplus? Like the
That's what they call
surplus stores?
Gone from Mickey
Bring them
Mouse.
back.
So, Doug, what is the one crazy fact you just told me about in retail that's happening before we move on to some other things?
Well, I love when people come to me and say, Doug, what, the grocery game, it can't be that hard. And I'm like, hard? I'm like, you're working off a 1% to 2% net. And if for those of you in business, it's basically what's left over to pay the bills. They're like, debt depreciation, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, think about this. You got to sell to make $100. You got to sell something that's what, $10,000?
$10,000.
$10,000 to make $100.
Oh, I mean, let's face it. There's a reason that there's fewer and fewer retailers in general.
Right.
We see massive retailers go out all the time, and it's because it's a low margin industry, and not a lot of investors want to invest in something with such low margins. They want higher, quicker returns. They want better guarantees on
Higher cap rates.
Higher cap rates. And you know what? For us, let's face it. The room, if we would have had everybody in the room that we knew that was independent retailers in the state of Pennsylvania 15 years ago, this room would be full. A lot of mustaches.
A lot of great
A
mustaches.
lot of amazing mustaches. But now,
The comb.
I mean, there might be 5 of us. I mean, if we had a case of beer, we'd be good.
Yeah, no, good point.
Back then, if you had a case of beer, I mean, that was the first go around.
That was a primer. No, but if you think about it, just in our market, over 8 in the last 5 years.
Sad and scary. Another independent went out in our Katanning area, and there's only a few independents left in our whole region. It's I feel like Geronimo. I'm like you and I are two of the last chiefs leading our little band around trying to evade the federales and keep our freedom.
It's not easy.
And for all you helping us, hey, you're helping a cause, man. You're helping a cause. It's like Braveheart.
Well, and too, what people don't realize is, the people that work in grocery stores tend to be super local, right? And so a grocery store, even the smallest of our sizes, is 30 employees in that store that work there throughout the week. If you look at the replacement, which is a DG, Dollar Degenerate, great store.
Dollar General.
Oh, sorry. I always screwed that up.
Yeah, he's got a
Dollar General, not
some kind of
Degenerate.
speech issue.
That's horrible. But the market, they put those stores in, and there's a tendency of 4 people, 5, 6, maybe.
Yeah.
So to the point of that, you basically take a place that was producing 30 jobs, and then what it means for the tax people is this. So do you know your local tax is 1%? Wherever you live,
Yeah.
you pay 1% of your income.
Yeah.
Back as local taxes.
Yeah, if I forget, Berkheimer reminds me.
Oh, they're
with
great.
a letter that looks like I'm going to be subpoenaed for a massive, serious federal crime or something.
Oh yeah. So to that point, think about this: you went from 30 opportunities down to 4.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. So, one of the largest companies in the world, especially in America, Amazon, just closed their Fresh and Goes, which is their brick and mortar grocery stores, over 70 locations. They just closed them all at one time. Back to, we talked about this before, January is business Armageddon, retail Armageddon.
Yeah.
Big things happen in January and tend to be the first month of the year. You'll see big changes. And we just saw a big change in Amazon closing all of its Fresh and Goes. So if you're somebody out there that has a small business, deli, things of that nature, check out the auctions, opportunity to get some really nice equipment for very affordable pricing.
Yeah, Dad taught us that a long time ago, and we've done it with all of our remodels. We've always used new to us but still great equipment that some corporation went out of business or had to change out their equipment, and we've gotten it for a great discount. So it is a great way to get some really quality equipment at a good price.
Heck yeah. So Ryan, it's that time. One of your favorite times.
Oh man. Boom. One more. Boom. This week in retail history with Doug.
Guys, super excited. This week in retail history, it's interesting. We take it for granted now, but back in June of 1974, guess what happened?
June of 1974. Was that Aerosmith? Was that Dream On? Dream on. Dream on.
There's that. But it was also,
I think it might have been.
It was the first product to be scanned using a UPC.
Or that.
Barcode. There was a piece of Wrigley's gum. But the fun fact is it was actually test bedded in January of 1973. So the UPC, the Universal Product Code, was created. And the creator was a guy that he basically, his name is Joseph Woodland, was on a beach in Miami, living his best life.
Man, that sounds good.
And he was trying to figure out a way to how can I basically inventory the entire store and have it so that you can't, have issues with it and just basically bleep, scan at the register. And he was a big fan of Morse code. So he realized when he dragged the Morse code down, it created that aha eureka moment when his fingers hit the sand, extending the dots and dashes made the Morse code. So it basically made the lines of the EPC. So it was originally inspired by Morse code.
Only a grocer, only a retailer would be sitting in the sand, looking out at the whatever. Wife's in a, nice bathing suit. Kids are playing, digging a hole, and you're just like thinking, how can I scan things? I mean, that's a retailer there, man.
Oh, for sure. So, but it's funny though, like, you think of it now as kind of like the gold standard of any, like when people try to bring us products, we're like, you got a UPC?
Have to have a UPC.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So you want me to hand ring that? What is this, 1973?
Come on. You want me to take every unit and gun it with like the old can, click, click, click. Remember we bought Katana, it didn't have a scanning system.
Right.
So it was like, if every case you stocked, there was a whole extra component to it. I mean,
well, think about price changes.
Well, and then you got 15-year-old guys dreaming of, Jenny and, sitting there thinking about, drinking 10 beers after work with their buddies on a field somewhere. And they're determining your life
right
with every freaking click, with every, scan gun that they're clicking, for those of you who don't remember or don't know. I mean, it used to be you had this gun with this paper and you had to like bounce it off every item that you stocked onto the shelf, and it actually had the price on it. It was a logistical nightmare, but it's the only way they had.
We still have them for like pros for dating and stuff, but like you have to watch a YouTube video to learn how to load it.
Oh yeah,
because you have to like go around the circle. But
yeah, it's a whole experience.
Like any good progress, there are some people that are against it. Half of them were afraid of the ripoff, right? So consumer groups led by Carol Tucker Foreman argued that removing the price from the stickers in the favor of shelf pricing was a scam to let grocery stores raise prices secretly.
Yeah, she probably also was part owner of a tag gun machine company too.
She had an investment.
She's like, those are evil.
Speaking of that, so there was also the conspiracy in 1970, late 1970s, a religious group claimed that the barcode was the mark of the beast, which is, if you ever seen it, very similar to the Red Bull can. It looks like the mark of the beast. It's because of the 3 guard bars, slightly longer lines beginning in the middle, which some interpreted as the number 666.
Sounds like it sounds like somebody who owned the tag gun company, maybe the same lady that was leading the other revolt. Sounds like they were big contributors to the church.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
It's like Fish Fridays. You know, Fish Fridays
Right.
came about. I mean, I'm into the big guy. I'm into the whole situation. But let's face facts. 1300s, the fishermen in Italy weren't giving as much to the church because they weren't catching as much fish. Fish industry, people weren't eating as much fish. So the bishop or the cardinal or the pope, whoever, had a meeting with the fishermen hey, what's up, guys? The contributions are down. Takes a lot of maintenance to keep these pews looking good. And they're
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, this isn't allegedly. This is true.
Oh my God.
This is true. This happened.
We got shellacked last week because you're.
No. This is fact. They can look it up. Wikipedia, baby.
Woo!
Google it. Just like the Indiana coach. Google it. Well, this is a fact. So, what was the solution? People need to eat more fish so the fishermen catch more fish so they're able to get more money to the church. So, what's the answer? You know what? We're all going to eat fish on Fridays. Problem solved.
That's a good point.
That's what happened.
And I'm glad you inspired me. Guess what we're having next week for Ryan's one bite, blind bite?
Don't tell me. Don't ruin it.
I can't wait.
And don't get me wrong. I think it's a great business plan. I mean, hey, you got churches, everybody, it's in the same thing. You're running a business. You want to keep it going. You want to be able to keep fueling people's, spiritual needs.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you can't just, faith alone will not do it, unfortunately. You got to have the infrastructure. So, to their credit, they found a way to grow sales.
Eat more fish.
Eat more fish.
Yeah. But yeah, so one last thing. So back to the Wrigley gum. It was 10, weirdly enough, 8101 a.m. A 10-pack of Wrigley Juicy Fruit Gum became the first item ever scanned in human history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, first item ever.
It's a great item.
So barcodes, thank you to our friend who was on the beach with his family, obviously having a great time. Was fascinated with Morse code. And, Joseph Woodland, thank you, sir, for this one's for you, for turning every family vacation into a work trip.
I'm picturing his wife in this, just really well-made piece of fabric and trying to get his attention. He's like, don't bother me, Betty. I'm trying to do Morse code in the sand. I got real issues here.
Oh yeah, no. I can see it now. He's there with his glasses doing Morse code.
She's making out with the freaking.
She's at her Muscle Beach. She's like, "Do you need help with that bar? I got you. I'll spot this."
Some poor guy, some poor swimmer's drowning while the lifeguard's making out with his wife while he's trying to figure out Morse code in the back.
Oh, Betty, look over this. Morse
Betty,
code.
you're never gonna believe what I just found.
I created it.
She's like, you don't know what I just found. Whatever you just found, I guarantee you, mine's better.
She's like, hey, quick question for you. Is that the most expensive idea you ever had? He's like, no, why? She's like, it just cost you half your stuff. Half your stuff's now gone. It's mine.
Your little sand dart's cute, honey.
Why don't you build me a castle, Joe?
God.
Come on, Joe, build me a castle.
God.
Good job, Joe.
That is interesting, though. You never know how something's going to
I
happen.
hope he's still alive. He could be alive.
You never know how something's going to happen.
We're gonna have the producer look at that if he's still alive. And also, hey, order the fish.
Norman Joseph Woodland with a first name of Norman. That dude's dead.
What?
How many Normans do you know right now?
They're all dead.
Yeah.
Oh. Sucks. Norm the Meat Cutter was great, though.
Norm the Meat Cutter was a legend, but he's unfortunately passed.
I know. We miss him. So, Ryan, speaking of things that have passed, I'm ready to hear about the infamous. Now, this item might, for most of you, be just a standard item you see in junkyards, farms, backyards, gas stations, pretty much anywhere, burn pits. But for some, it is the nest at which all things are formed.
Hey, we are in the season of love. Valentine's Day. Cupid is slinging arrows all over the world. Western PA is, not, resistant to the Cupid's arrows. And you never know when that Cupid's arrow is going to hit. Circa 2021 and winter, dead of winter. It was this time of year. It was, 25 degrees at night, average, 25 to 30 degrees at night. And our back dock area of our Katanning store is located in a very high traffic alley that is, a lot of people use that alley, including myself, on foot because it's easy to get to the center of town. And the center of town is where a lot of, now it's less and less, but even at that time, there was 3 or 4 local taverns all within a couple blocks of that area.
And some are more invested in that alley than others.
Yes. And so, yes. And so one of the cold nights, and another thing to note is, our container store is a very small store, there's not a lot of back room area, and it's a very tight store. It's 10,000 square foot. You can't make it any bigger because of the floodplain, and you have to get flood insurance and all this stuff. So you have to keep that box small. So we try to do a lot inside of the box. And one way we try to make it more customer friendly is by getting a lot of the work done overnight, so that the store's pretty much set up for when the customers come in, so they're not having to fight through people stocking and all that kind of stuff. So our night receiver, who's legendary in his own right, he had a routine every night. He would go in, he'd go open the store, he'd clean the floors, then he'd get the we have trucks come early. He would go and he'd get the fork truck, take it outside.
Right. And what Ryan's, just real quick, I just want to kind of lay out the land just a little bit. So there's a big overhang that kind of goes right up to the alley. It's super tight. Then there's a camera that's on the corner looking down at this area. And so to your right is a large garage door, which Ryan talked about. He comes in and out. And then there's this other wall, which is the compressor room. And all the employees that still smoke come out to that area, and they hang out and they put all their cigarettes out in that area.
Yeah. I mean,
but you can see the whole thing from the angle of, like, you see
multiple
the door.
Cameras.
Yeah, you see the one main shot though is the compressor room.
Is the compressor room, and by that in that shot, there's an area for smoking during breaks and stuff. There's, like he said, the garage door comes out, and that's how we receive our trucks. The trucks park in the alley. We receive the trucks with the fork truck, take the pallets into the store. There's a man door there, and beside the man door, which goes into some of the prep rooms, beside the man door is a grease barrel where, we have a fryer. We empty our grease into the grease barrel to keep the grease from going down the drains and messing the drains up. So the grease barrel's right there. Well,
how old's like a grease barrel?
I mean, it's old. It's gross. I mean,
rusty.
People passing by. I mean, the stuff they think it's a trash can. I think people walking up and down the alley. So, you get like people, spitting chewing tobacco on the lid. I've seen all kinds of body and contraptions. Is that a nice way to put it? On top of that, I've seen cigarette butts galore.
It's rusted out to the point where it's like sharp, rusty metal.
But trash too. I mean, people will just come back from sheets and throw food and whatever. They think it's a trash can, so they just throw it at it, but it's just the top of a grease barrel. So this thing is just disgusting. And who knows? Who knows what all. Oh, but anyway. So our receiver's doing his nightly routine, and just like any other night, 25, 30 degrees outside. Nobody's outside when he's coming. So he's not used to seeing anybody ever. About 2:45 a.m., pulls the fork truck out. We have it all on film. We have the film. I still have the film. Pulls it out. And, looks to his left. Here, to his left, is a man standing. In front of him, between him and the grease barrel.
On the grease barrel.
Is a woman working on a yoga like a hamstring stretch type of thing, like a standing bent over hamstring stretch. Only she's not trying to touch her toes. She's got two hands on the top of the grease barrel, on the cap of the grease barrel, head in the grease barrel. Just going to try to describe the story. Is his hands on the back of her head. His hands on the back of her head. and there wasn't a lot of clothes separating the two.
Although they were butt naked.
If you know what I'm saying.
Butt naked.
So apparently, they went to the local establishment, closed it down, maybe danced to a couple good, Journey or Bon Jovi songs, leave, feeling the vibe, and decided to make the grease barrel
the third leg of the tripod,
the center of the consummation of their relationship. So think about it from everybody's standpoint. From their standpoint, quiet alley, grease barrel, nobody's around, 2:30 in the morning. You know, we're feeling it. So we're just gonna go ahead and do this right now, right here. Wham, you know, take the receiver doing his nightly duty, which he's never used to seeing anybody ever, coming out in the fork truck. And when you watch the video, he comes out, he doesn't see them at first. They see him, he doesn't see them. But from their standpoint, you're there and you're in the middle of this passionate moment. And all of a sudden, lights come on, garage door flips open, loud fork truck comes flying out with a guy on it fast. Yeah. I mean, it just went from, you know, you've imagined yourself in the middle of a cabin with a fire and, you know, glasses of wine to just chaos in minutes. And then there's somebody watching you, standing there watching you. And, you know, the guy's pants were at his ankles, you know, and her pants were at her ankles. She didn't have a shirt on.
So he didn't have a shirt on either?
He didn't have a shirt on either.
No.
So, like, they didn't know what to do. They were like a deer in headlights. And when you look at the film, you know, he's like, and he's running out. She's falling over. He's falling over. They're trying to get their clothes on. They're running down the alley. You know, the receiver was so distraught by it once he realized what was happening. He just took the fork truck back in and closed the door. And, you know, so then, you know, they left. He goes in, and then he told, you know, when he was telling me this story, which again, you know, it was one of those, hey, Ryan, I got to tell you something, you know, you're not going to believe this. And you hear that a lot, but this isn't one of those times I couldn't believe it. When he told me that, I'm like, and then when we saw the footage, and of course, you know, it got out, it leaked. You know, it leaked.
Oh, of course it
the
leaked.
video leaked.
Everybody leaks that.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
I had people texting me. I just saw the video. I mean, it leaked. It went everywhere. It was literally everywhere. And I didn't see it on any socials, thank God. But
well, no, you couldn't show it on socials.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
it was literally like Roger Rabbit. I mean, full speed. That guy had stamina.
and
like,
we had just
like
gotten
Hercules.
we had just gotten new cameras.
Oh no, it was crystal clear.
I mean, the level of passion, focus, illicit drugs that it took to make that happen in those conditions is, you know, here, you know, salute. I mean, you know, respect big time to that man and that woman. Their love was definitely ran deep.
You know what? If you're out there, please let us know. We'd love to have you on the show.
The grease barrel.
The Gatan Casanova. I want to know, what magic do you have to talk somebody in to a rendezvous in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, during a frigidly cool night? It was like 0 degrees out. And then in public on a grease barrel.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, I've heard of, you know, some, you know, back of the bar bathroom stories, you know, back of the bar dumpster stories. But yeah, I mean, the sales pitch, how did that go? So you had, you know, you're there with your lady and, you know, you just had a nice night. You know, like I said, you're dancing to some, you know, Pour Some Sugar on Me's playing and, you know, everybody's feeling it. You know, it was whiskey sour, dollar night. I mean, everybody's feeling really good. And who knows what else was happening. I mean, you know, this was a Tuesday. So you're getting tuned up on a Tuesday. Are you doing other things? You know, is there other chemicals maybe in the air? You know, who knows? But, you know, how's the sales pitch go? You're walking down this alley on your way home, you know, you could say, hey, yeah, you want to go to the hotel, you know, shake things up a little bit, or, you know, hey, you know, let's go back to my place, or let's go back to your place, or, you know, how do you pitch? Listen, you know, I got to have you right now. See that grease barrel? That grease barrel. That was made for you, sweetheart.
You know what, though? Judging by...
Why don't you take your pretty little head over to that grease barrel?
Judging by...
I'll be over in a minute.
Judging by his performance, he was working through some cathartic rage.
I mean,
That guy had some rage.
why, you know,
Woo!
the general consensus is there was illicit drugs involved. That was general consensus from everybody involved. This was overanalyzed.
Oh, so there was a panel of reviewers.
There was this conversation went on at the store level for weeks. I mean, analyzing it was like, after like a Super Bowl, everybody analyzes the Super Bowl for like months, every day. It was a similar situation, breaking it down, watching the film, slowing the film down, and it came up with the consensus with illicit drugs were involved. It was somehow either extramarital or, maybe people were living with parents that didn't approve of said acts.
Well, these are adults, though.
Yeah, but I mean, let's say you got a couple people living with their parents, adults living with their parents. The parents don't like you bringing home girls and guys. You've just, you're 45 years old and you just listen to, when are you going to get a job, Fred? For the last 5 days straight. And so finally Fred decides to go out and have a good night on the town, finds a little, companion, but where's he going to take her? He doesn't have any money because he doesn't have a job. He had just, did something for his mom, work around the house to get enough to go to the bar, living with his mom, and mom doesn't allow you to have friends. So that's where you get, hey, we got a grease barrel here. What else do we need, baby?
Can you imagine the argument there? Mom's like, I just saw you on Facebook. And he's like, well,
wasn't me.
You're the one that kicked me out of the basement.
It wasn't me. That's when you go to it wasn't me.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Why can't you?
If it didn't work out.
Shaggy made millions on that song.
It didn't work out for him, though.
Oh, yeah, it did.
He caught him on the camera.
Wasn't me.
I saw the marks on his shoulder.
Wasn't me.
Heard the screams getting louder.
Wasn't me.
It was him.
Hey, you just say, wasn't me.
Oh, my God.
Shaggy taught us that a long time ago. And now, as we absorb that story, retail trends with Doug.
Well,
I'm looking at the retail trends.
Oh yeah, it's really exciting.
Well, what? Maybe he gave her flowers.
It ties in.
Yeah,
well, guys,
maybe that's how the grease barrel. Maybe he had flowers staged on the grease barrel.
Well, one of the things I enjoy doing is to read about other trends and other businesses, and it inspires us in different ways. But one of the cool things is this year in the flower game, which is florist or flower places, the number one color is transformative teal, and mud pastels are back.
Oh, thank God! I've been waiting for that. I mean,
mauve, baby, it's
every
back.
year. I'm like, no mud pastels again.
Well, I'm glad you asked about the mud pastel. We'll get to that. But the teal was designed as the color of the year of 2026. This deep blue green is being paired with forest-inspired designs. And mud pastels is a shift away from sugary sweet pastels towards a dusty version. Actually, did you see this like in Volkswagen did this? And so did Ford. Have you noticed these weird pastel-y kind of car colors like grays and this green?
Yeah.
And it's very muted.
Yeah, that rental car, the brand had.
Exactly.
It was a weird color. I couldn't really describe it.
So that's the trend for colors right now. So that it's transcended just flowers. It's obviously now into cars. And so when people are thinking about what, assortment to get your loved one or your mother, your girlfriend, your wife, girlfriend and wife, whatever, you're buying for this year, it's very important to think about that because you don't want to be the guy that just brings the red. Although red's very classic and a lot of women appreciate the red. You just don't want to bring the red, bring the mud pastels. And also another big deal is eco packaging. And this is fun for us because I always hear farm to table.
Yeah.
Farm to vase, which is a movement not to use plastics, to put it right in the vase at the farm.
I like that.
And bring it over and throw it at her. I wonder that.
I like that. It's easier to manage.
Oh, yeah, but if I'm going to do it, I'm pulling out the roots and the dirt and just throwing it into a vase. Be like,
oh, wow.
Here you go, sweetheart.
I'd probably work with the grease barrel girl.
Oh, no. I think you can talk that girl into a lot of things.
At least at that point in her life. I mean, I'm sure she's moved on to brighter things, but I mean, at that point,
hopefully a couch.
I think if some mud pastels would have, probably gotten you a long way.
I'm just going to keep nailing these segues. So speaking of mud pastels, tell us about this week's Ryan's retail stereotype.
This week is, everybody everybody's experienced this. You actually inspired this with your story that you told me. But, you know, one of the things that's a problem in retail right now, both from a customer standpoint when you're in a store and from a management standpoint, and really from an employee standpoint when you have other people working with you in your department, is the person that, you know, uses the loophole of going to the bathroom to steal breaks. Or the customer that decides to use the bathroom for a wardrobe change, or, you know, to call Aunt Sally in a place that is private, you know, so they go in the bathroom and they're on their phone, whether they're scrolling the internet, social media, on the phone. You know, most of the time it's not necessarily the bodily, you know, release of bodily fluids. They're using it as an excuse to do other things. So they're in there for 15 minutes sometimes.
In video game world, we call that camping, is when you basically cheat and put yourself near the spawn point, and then you just whack the guys as soon as they come back into the game, and it drives people nuts. Yeah. But they call it the bathroom camper. And, you know, I first experienced this. I've seen this in retail, and there's a lot of people that does social media that talk about how great it is to steal, you know, 15 minutes to a dime on company time. And what they don't realize, though, is like bathrooms were designed not to be long dwelling places. And let's think about that. How can you perform all the duties in the bathroom and not touch your phone before you wash your hands?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot we could get into from a bacteria feeding situation.
Right.
I mean, from that standpoint, it's like, whoa, that's a whole other situation. But basically, it affects productivity. It affects the morale of the troops, because the people that are holding down whatever department or front end registers or whatever, while this person's camping out, they're getting pretty upset because they just got another extra break, and now they have to do twice the work while they're getting their break. So they're not happy. Or, you know, for a lot of smaller stores, like, you know, Katanning, for instance, a small store, we were lucky to find space for a public restroom. So there's one public restroom. It's both genders, and you know, when somebody's in there camping out, and the thing is, because of the way the Wi-Fi works there, in my office doesn't have super strong Wi-Fi. So if I need to make some postings for the cast, you know, if I need to put together a clip or something like that, I have to do it up in the hall.
Right by the bathroom.
Near the bathroom.
Right.
So when I'm there, it's amazing how it's used. It's used a lot. But, you know, if there's a camper in there, and, you know, the reaction to campers varies. You know, you get, some people are just like, okay, I can hold it till I get home. Or, oh, okay, I'll just do some more shopping and I'll circle back around before I check out. But then you get the people that are like, no. I know they've been in there for at least 2 minutes. I know how long it takes.
I've been there.
And I mean, they don't even know these people. Rapping on the door. Hey, I need in. I mean, now maybe they have an emergency. To be fair, though, most customers at Katanning know, and there's an extra bathroom upstairs that used to be the quasi-public restroom. It's not handicap accessible, but in an emergency, people can use it. But some people don't know that. But I mean, I've seen, there's been some spots I've almost intervened, you know, at the exchange.
How do you think I handle it?
I don't know, actually, because you're a pretty respectful guy. You mean if it's your employees or if you're at a public restroom and you're waiting?
Anyway, I always handle it the same.
I don't know. Honestly, it could go either way. I could see, you know, you can be a pretty assertive guy, so I could see you knocking. I could see that. I mean, I can't see you screaming at the person, but I can see you knocking. But I don't know. Like I said, you're pretty respectful in public. So unless it was an emergency, I could see you kind of mingling around, getting some stuff done, and then coming back. Or I could also see you just leaving the establishment and not shopping there again.
No. I handle it like a boss. I go as loud as it's within an appropriate environment without getting arrested by a TSA. I'm like, hi, is anybody in there?
Do you knock? Is there a knock with it?
No. And then if they don't respond, I do it again.
Yeah.
Hi, is anybody in there? And I make them have to say, I'll be out right 1 second, and confirm that I know they're in there.
Okay.
I keep repeating it. And this just happened. Lindsay and I and Duke took my parents to Marathon Key. It's their favorite place in the world. And we're coming back in Miami. Now, Miami is a massive airport, huge. But for some reason, I don't know who got the bag, but somebody only had to put 4 male stalls in the bathroom of each of the stalls.
Oh, wow.
So I walk in, and 3 of the stalls have people in it. And you can tell because there's a suitcase, there's like feet, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a guy, and there's a guy with a kid in front of me, and there's me. And so I'm like, all right, time to set the timer. I set the timer. Because I just want to know. Because I know, I can sense it's happening.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like,
they're in there using it to buy time before their flight. Scrolling the internet.
Right, but who wants to be in that environment for any more time than you have to be?
I mean,
Weirdos.
It's weird, man.
Weird. It's a weird cultural thing.
Yeah.
They need to stop. We need to have some kind of movement to stop the movement. But
Doug's rant of the week.
anyway, so now I'm there. 5 minutes goes by.
A long time for 4 stalls and no action.
One guy comes out.
Everybody's just in there
Right.
checking on their emails and stuff, I guess.
One guy comes out. The guy first position goes in. Right. 5 minutes comes again.
Oh, wow.
And the dad and the kid can't take it. They dip out.
Yeah.
And I can't take it. But before I go, I'm like, hi, is anybody in there? Nobody responds. I do it like 4 more times until they all have to admit they're being jerks.
Yeah.
So then I go to the next bathroom. Guess what? Same situation. Same situation.
Wow. Did you learn anything from this?
Yeah. I'm not flying ever again.
Yeah. I was going to say, make sure that you, handle heavier jobs before you leave the house.
Oh, I'm going to start fasting before I fly.
Yeah, I do because I hate to pee on planes. So I do. I kind of watch, and if I have a flight within like 3 hours of a flight, I really watch my fluids. I'm like Fuller on Home Alone.
Yeah.
I really watch my fluids, and then I time it out so that I go real quick when we first get to the airport, and then I go real quick again right before we get on the plane, and that way I don't have to worry about anything while I'm up there.
That's funny.
And then I also watch what I consume on the plane.
That's crazy. You know what I do?
I mean, I think about this because I don't want to deal with any. First of all, I have this horrible phobia about getting locked in a bathroom
As the plane goes
airplane
down.
bathroom. Just in general, just it's a very close claustrophobic situation, and I hate it, so I avoid it.
No, I got a Guy Fieri's. I order the extra cheese, 3,000 calorie monster meal, extra grease. Just go to war.
Beautiful.
But Ryan, I missed it the last 2 weeks, but I am going to get in today.
Doug's retail story of the week, baby.
I take us back. We mentioned this in an earlier podcast, but I need to give it a little more breath. So our Apollo store back in the day was one of our smallest locations ever.
A-Town, baby. Apollo, PA.
A-Town. It didn't even have a loading dock. So it had the carriage situation where you'd basically hand unload groceries, 2,000 piece trucks sometimes.
We had the conveyor belt.
You had to hand unload it.
You'd put out the conveyor belt, stand it up on stands.
Right. Then
outside the store.
Then you put on carts and roll into the store.
Crazy.
So we had back then, it's like anything else you learn, but we had a lot less office procedure like gatekeeping because it was a brand new store. So we were there, and we had a crew member that was a very interesting character. But when he would get mad at me, he would be like, and he'd be like, "You Doc," like that's what he talked like all the time. Right? He'd talk like that all the time.
He was very outspoken.
He was very angry.
Very angry, very outspoken.
Very angry.
Yeah, funny little mustache too.
So one of the things that happens
Funny
is
shape.
when you have a store like that, it's, as Ryan mentioned before, you have night receiving. So we had night receiving at that store because we didn't want a bad experience with the customer. So we were there, and one of our trucks, Mackinac, would bring our cigarettes, meat, produce, some grocery.
Yeah.
To the store. And so we were there, and it would come in the night, and then, so they'd bring cigarettes into cartons, and the cartons would be like, probably at that time, that's a big smoking store, it'd probably be 50, 60 cartons.
Oh yeah, I mean that was 20 years ago. A lot of people smoked,
Right?
Especially in some of those old mill towns, man. I mean, people down to the knuckle, one after another.
So we'd buy a lot of cigarettes, and it'd come in 2 to 3 days a week, maybe 2 days a week. And you'd verify the cigarette count versus the invoice. And we started noticing some dramatic shortages. At the same time, we noticed that the lottery count in the morning was not matching the night, right? We knew some things were happening there. So
Yeah, either a lot of people couldn't count, or
right,
or
some issues internally.
something was leaving the lottery stand.
So real quick side note, NGA is happening this week or next week. They said this is interesting.
National Grocers Association.
Big shout out.
They're fans. They're fans of us on the cast.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great organization.
it is.
One of my first junkets to Vegas was actually because of NGA. But at the NGA show, we were there and we're talking about different things. And it was all about shrinking retail theft. And at the time, 85% of all retail theft is internal.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Internal.
Yeah.
So
I avoid the NGA show because when I go to it, you go through all the seminars and it tells you all the things that should happen. And even if you're a great retailer, the amount where you're at versus like if you were maxed out, nobody is. Even the big corporate chains are probably 50% of what could be.
right.
It's overwhelming, and I'm like, it makes you like, whoa, like Mission Impossible. But anyways, yeah, sorry,
Too much.
Yeah,
It's
too much.
it's a lot.
It's overload. Great information though.
So between we figured out, Ron and I together at the time, we figured out there was something going on between the cigarette shortages and lottery shortages. So at that store, we did all of our top stock and paper towels. Back then, paper towels was a bigger seller, so we had to carry back stock for the sales. We kept it all on top of the freezer cases, which was right by the office. And at the time, we didn't have true camera systems. We didn't have, because we couldn't afford it, we didn't have a true camera system that we could look at. So I went to Leechburg and I found an old tube, black and white television tube that ran to like this. It looked like a carton of cigarettes cameras. Really, it looked like just like a carton of cigarettes.
It was a MacGyver for those MacGyver fans. It was a MacGyver situation.
Right. And then actually, if you guys are really familiar, BNC, which is coaxial cable, is what actually is shot on. And it wasn't recorded, it was live. So you had to watch it live.
That's right. Yeah, we couldn't just let it roll and come back and watch it later. We had to be there to watch it.
Right. So if you remember correctly, we had this cord that went from top of the freezer case where we were positioned behind. It was like a kid. We built this big castle of boxes. We sat behind the boxes. It was so tight, we had to put our legs over the back of the freezer cases so we could
On
fit.
top of the freezer cases.
Right. So what we did is
Staked it out, man.
what people don't realize is you have 30 seconds. So back to the thing, our setup. We had the biaxial cable go down behind the freezer, and then we had it go behind the office, under the carpet, and back into the. We had it go back into a carton of cigarettes that overlooked the lottery, so we could see if any tickets and who took the tickets. So then Ryan, Ryan like 10 years ago was a ninja. I mean, he could jump off a bridge and not get hurt. But you were so fast. You ran, hit the lights for the entire store, and then turn the alarm on, which gives you a 30-second from the time you hit the alarm button to get out of the building. It's like 30 seconds. Runs back up, jumps up on top of the freezer case by hand, and pulls himself behind the thing and sat beside me.
Yeah, all those jumps are probably explains why as I'm sitting here for more than a half hour, my lower back and knees are on fire. It's probably all those jumps.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Oh.
So here's
Idiot. Don't jump, kids. Don't jump.
So Ron and I, like any good knucklehead young guys, we're like, you know what? We're gonna get some snacks. We're gonna have some beverages, and then you always at the time, thank God, carry around a gallon of water.
Oh yeah, I was always hydrated.
You're always hydrated. So Ryan's over there gulping water down, and all of a sudden, so we were there about 2 hours before our people were supposed to get there. And Ryan's there mowing down water. And I'm like, dude, you better slow down. We're going to be here for a while. He's like, nah. Mowing down water. Sure enough, he gets ready to use the jug for the reverse process of water. And then all of a sudden, lights come on.
Oh, yeah.
Store. All the lights come on. The alarm comes off. And the person that we suspect at the time of doing this comes in, does the store stuff, and within like 10 minutes of the McInerney truck coming, goes over and starts pulling tickets.
Do you remember on the camera how wild it was, like heart racing when we saw his little extremities come into the scene?
Oh no, we got him.
It was slow. Do you remember? It was like, it wasn't like he was like, it was a slow, it was wild. It's like he was really trying to enjoy the moment, And he grabbed that ticket. He grabbed his tickets and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So then Ryan and I, we got him. And we know we're going to figure out what happened to the cigarettes. So Ron and I sadistically wait for him to use the bathroom. And the bathroom at the time was on the other side of the store so that we could basically be high on the edge of the aisles. And as soon as he was done with the bathroom, Ron and I pop out. And mind you, he thinks he's good because there's no alarm.
And he thinks the alarm's set. He does, like nobody could have come into the store. Nobody could have come into the store after he after he entered.
Right. And
So there wasn't a soul in the store in his mind.
Right. And so we pop out and we're like, hey. And he's like, ah!
Oh, yeah, he was shocked.
He was like, what are you guys doing here?
Actually, he didn't jump as much as I thought he would, but you could tell he was just like shocked.
Right. Where'd you guys come from?
Yeah.
So being that we're obviously very detail oriented, we then camped out in the lottery.
And this guy was a player. I mean, let's put it on the record. He was a player. He did a lot of work.
He was a
handled
manager.
a lot of stuff.
Right.
Like if he at that point, if he left, we weren't as deep as we are in people now. We weren't as established as we are now. So like when we lost somebody like that, you or I or you and I had to cover whatever they were doing until we trained somebody else. So
I think I had to work truck for 8 months after this.
the last thing we wanted to do was see this guy go.
Oh yeah. So the next day, so he asked, what are you guys doing here? We're like, we're just checking on conditions. And he knew why we were there. He wasn't stupid. So Ryan and I counted the lottery and we realized there was a bunch of tickets missing. There's probably close to a couple $100, maybe $500 worth of tickets missing. So the next day we come in and we call him and we say, hey, this is where we're at. Is there anything you want to tell us? We have at least these many times this occurred. And I was like, and we figured out the mechanic driver was in on it and stealing cigarettes, and that was half the battle. But he was like, I'll never forget. He looked at me with his little beady eyes and he said, I like, anything you got to say for yourself? He's like, yeah, I got one thing to say to you. I'm like, what? He's like, F you, Doug.
I remember.
And then literally left.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. So
he went out in style.
But here's the crazy thing. He was so greedy. So like, if people don't understand, when you steal lottery tickets, you report that to the lottery, and lottery has their loss prevention. They kill the tickets. So if you try to cash it, they get notified that you try to cash a stolen ticket. So a few days later, he gave one of the stolen tickets to another crew member who tried.
I remember that.
Tried to cash
The
the
older
ticket.
lady.
Tried to cash the ticket.
Yes.
And she was like, you guys must have miscounted because I'm like, no.
That's right.
I'm like, because the one that we had
Started with a B, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
literally the tickets that were missing was from like 5 to 15. And the one that she had was 10.
I wonder if she's still with us.
I don't think so. Yeah, but she definitely.
We had her too.
We had her cooked, as the kids say.
Well, and again, we didn't want to lose anybody at that store. I mean, it was a small store. I mean, it was doing well at the time, and it had a good crew, and we didn't want to lose anybody. So that was one of those. Oh, jeez, like just why people? Why?
Well, when people ask why do small independent grocery stores go out of business, I don't know. That's just one of the reasons.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons.
I go back to when Joe Oliver sold us that store and Vandergrift. Both the stores were doing very well, and we bought them from him. And I remember I said, these stores are doing well. You've done very well. Why are you getting out now? He said 2 reasons. He said I can't handle the employee issues, and I can't do it anymore. And in retail, even if you got a great crew, there's just a lot of things that happen. Everybody's lives, there's all these things that happen in the lives, and then it all trickles into the business. And it's just, there's a lot to manage. And so he was sick of managing it, and he was sick of the refrigeration breakdowns and bills and stuff. So he just couldn't take it anymore. He got out. But yeah. So that kind of really, those two people were core people in the crew. That was tough to get over. Man.
Oh, it
wasn't like we were like, yes, we got
no.
We were like, oh, why?
We were so bummed out.
Why?
It's always heartbreaking when that happens. It's heartbreaking.
When it's people you don't want to lose.
Well, beyond that, when it's people you've
I'll be honest,
with, you bled with.
But when there's a shortage of anything, and when it comes down to where there's no other way around it than when there's theft involved and you need to investigate, I'm always thinking just don't be these people. I am. That's the first thing. It's just like, oh, just don't be this group of people. Like, don't be any of them. Okay, it's not. Oh, okay, thanks. God. Yeah. But in that case, that wasn't the case.
Real quick. So Norman Joseph Woodland, our producer, just texted us, was the co-inventor of the UPC. So there was another character in there, but passed away in 2012, December 9th at age 91, with his family in Edgewater, New Jersey.
Man, nice long life.
Yeah.
Hopefully he had hopefully after that he made a lot of money and he was able to, enjoy the rest of his trips in Miami.
Well, when Lindsay yells at me at the beach next time and she said, "What are you doing over there?" I'm like, working on UPCs.
Just be like, hey, look up Norman Joseph Rockwell. No, not Norman Rockwell. What's his name? Norman Joseph.
Come on.
I lost my notes.
Woodland.
Hey, Google Norman Joseph Woodland. Actually, Google makes me sound like I'm my age. Chat.
Put that.
Norman Joseph.
Yeah, put that in AI.
Hey, why don't you just go ahead and put that in chat? There. I just lowered my age by 10.
You know what I do? I command myself to be old.
My age by 10.
I use Google Gemini, which is their chat GPT. No,
I just lowered my age by 10, man. I'm feeling good. All of a sudden, my back doesn't hurt. It's great.
Well, if he's a grocer,
No,
when grocers go to the beach, they're like this: "I will do anything to stay here," and they're like, "Oh, UPCs."
Yeah.
I'm in.
It is nice to work on the beach, I will say. I've done it.
But guys,
Nice.
thank you so much. Great show. Quick shout again to our friends, Grist House and Pocha. Hope you guys really enjoyed that interview. And also, Ryan, our friends at Pennsylvania Skill Alliance.
It's skill, not luck, baby. Make sure your machine says powered by Pacematic. Thanks to everybody for watching. Make sure you continue to follow, like, share on all the platforms like Doug said, because, hey, we want to keep doing this. We enjoy telling these stories. We enjoy keeping these stories from the past alive. And it's great to also interact with all of you on your comments and your messages. So keep the comments coming. Keep the messages coming. If you have stories of your own that you want us to share, hey, we'll share them. Who knows? Maybe if it's a crazy enough or interesting enough story, maybe you'd be willing to come on as a guest. So keep it going, guys. Thanks for watching the Checked Out podcast. We'll see you next week. Remember, we can't do what we do
Without you, come and see us.
Woo!
Woo! All right. Give him a big dang and dong so he knows.
Someday I hope to be patched like a NASCAR racer. Literally. I want to be like Ricky Bobby. I want to have a contract to mention a certain brand before Grace.
That's amazing.
Here we go.